let's look at this packet here. So that gives us a problem at the top. It says Cameron and Dakota are playing a game in which they choose 2 cards and multiply the numbers. The person with the largest product wins the round. Which cards do they choose in order to win the round? That's a interesting problem. So I think I want to go back to that problem, but before I do, let's look at these little rules down here. If you guys thought that the addition and subtraction was difficult, I think you guys are going to be happy with this multiplication division because it's a little easier. So this says that multiplying and dividing 2 numbers, if the signs are the same, then the answer is positive. So that first blank there is positive. So for example, positive 8 times positive 3 is 24. And that's just like normal multiplication. We're used to that. 2 positives multiplied is a positive. If I have a negative 8 and a negative 3, that's also positive 24 because the signs are both negative. So if the signs are the same, well, no matter what 2 numbers are multiplying together, the signs are the same, the result is a positive number. So the second rule is if the signs are different, then the answer is negative. So here's the examples down here. 8 times a negative 3 is a negative 24. Or negative 8 times 3 is a negative 24. So that's positive 8 on the first one and negative 3. On the second one, it's negative 8 and a positive 3. So you guys remember like when we did addition and subtraction, it was always the larger number that got to keep the sign, right? In this case, it doesn't matter if it's larger or bigger. As long as if they have opposite signs, it's negative. If they're the same signs, it's positive. That's for multiplying and dividing. So let's look at I'm going to skip down to the examples at the bottom. Then we'll do some of those word problems. Some of these numbers aren't going to be in our multiplication table, which is kind of a shame. I think I might change it up for you guys so that way it will fit. Let's do, instead of 16 times negative 4, let's do 15 times a negative 4. And actually, before I do that, I should probably show you guys something. If you always want to write this on a separate paper, the same paper you can. There are lots of ways to show multiplication. Let's just take 2 times 2. Let's do something simple. 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is what? 4? Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. So the purpose of this isn't to show you guys what 2 times 2 is, but there's lots of different ways to write that multiplication sign. I could write that multiplication sign as the time symbol. I could write it as just a dot. I can also use parentheses. All of those are ways of showing multiplications. For example, I have 2 times 2. I could also do 2 dot 2. And it's the same thing, it's just still multiplication. I can also do 2 parentheses 2, or I can even do 2 in parentheses and another 2 in parentheses, and it's the same thing. So there's lots of different ways to show multiplication. So if you see a dot or you see parentheses, you might not be used to that, but it just means multiplication. In fact, when I teach my science classes, I automatically use parentheses. I just assume you guys have taken pre-algebra, and so I write those parentheses in my formulas when I teach science classes. So I like to use parentheses. Sometimes I use the X because I know you guys are used to the X. I hardly ever use a dot unless I'm doing math on my own. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. Okay, so going back to the problems here. So, yeah, use your multiplication tables. 15, yeah, so using the rules that I just gave you in the multiplication tables, 15 times negative 4 would be what? Negative 60. Because 15 is positive, 4 is negative. So as long as I have opposite signs, It's going to be a negative number. Yeah, so that's negative 60. What about the next one? Negative 9 times a negative 8. Yeah, positive 72. Because they're both negative, so same sign means I have a positive number. Donnie's, what about number 5, negative 13 times 7? Negative 91? I don't know if that's off the top of my head, so let me know if that's right. Say what? Okay. I didn't know either. That should be in the multiplication table, though. But yeah, negative 91, they have opposite signs, so it's a negative number. I didn't make sure to watch the time here. Okay. Some division here. Let's do... Well, we might just do one division problem. So, negative 84 divided by 6. Using that same rule, is that going to be a positive or a negative number? Positive, right, because there's 2 negatives. Is 14? Okay, thank you. Negative 76 divided by 19. Is that going to be negative or positive? Negative, yep. So because they have opposite signs, 19 is positive, 76 is negative. What about negative 56 divided by 8? Would that be negative or positive? Negative? Negative 7? Yeah, you're right. Yep, negative 7. Negative 4? I didn't do the math. Negative 4? Okay. Hang on a second. I have to answer. So yeah, it's really easy to remember. It's just same signs, positive, opposite signs, negative. Okay, let's look at these word problems here. Let's look at some application. And if we have time, we'll do the back of the page, but let's just do some word problems. One January day, that's my birthday. The low temperature in Fargo, what is that? N-O? North Dakota, thank you. Fargo, North Dakota was negative 8 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature rose 4 degrees every hour for the next 6 hours. After 6 hours, what was the temperature? Okay, I really like this I know, I need to know blank. So, well, that seems kind of complicated, but I really like how they set this up, like have blanks for I know and I need to know. So what do we know from the problem? Yeah, so the temperature started at negative 8 degrees Fahrenheit. And what were you going to say? Yep, it goes up 4 degrees every 6 hours. So we'll say it increases by 4 degrees every 6 hours. And what do we need to know? Yeah. Yep, so what's the temperature after 6 hours? I kind of abbreviate here, I can't write all that in the small space. Yeah, so whenever you get to a word problem, it's always good to do that. It's always good to say, okay, what do I know now and what do I need to know? Okay, so let's think about, so remember we're learning about multiplication here. So this plan and work blank, what is the way we can solve this problem? What do you think? Yeah, we could write it out. How could we write it out? Yeah, good. Yeah. So yeah, so negative 8 is the initial temperature, but we need to add on that 4 degrees times every hour that goes by, so 6 hours. Okay. So yeah, there we go. Temperature increases, right? Yeah, temperature increases. Okay, I'm just making sure I read that right. Okay, so we have -8. We haven't gotten order of operations yet, but we need to multiply first. So what is 4 times 6? 24. So yep, if I work that out, it's -8 degrees plus 24 degrees. So what is -8 plus 24? Yeah, 16. So this is subtraction, 24 minus 8. So 16 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, right, right. Okay, let's see if we can do one more of these word problems. After a workout class, Lene's heart rate decreases at a rate of 17 beats per minute for 6 minutes. How much did Lene's heart rate decrease in a 6-minute period? Okay, so on this one, we know that it goes down by 17 every 6 minutes. So how could we figure this one out? 17 minus 6. So you're trying, that would be subtracting minutes from beats. I don't know if that would work out. Look at what we did in the last one. In the last one, we said every 6 hours, temperature increases by 4 degrees, and so we multiplied those. Yeah, 17 times 6, right. Sorry, Wanda, what did you say? Yeah, because for every 6 minutes, it goes down 17. Would that 7, would we have any negative numbers there? What's decreasing? Yeah, her heart rate. So since her heart rate is decreasing, it might be good to make 17 a negative number because it decreases, so that's beats per minute, BPM, times that 6-minute period. Negative 17 times 6 is not on your chart. Thank you. So her heart rate decreased by negative 102 beats per minute. That's what you said? I'm sorry. Questions over the, I didn't stop the questions on the first word problem. Questions about either one of those word problems? Okay, let's do this last one and then we'll do at least one problem from the back. Over a period of 12 hours, the temperature dropped 36 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the average change in temperature in 1 hour? How can we figure that one out? So over a period of 12 hours, temperature dropped 36 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the average change in the temperature in 1 hour? So negative 36 times 12. That'd be a pretty big number. So notice that it says over a period of 12 hours. If we want to know just the temperature change in just 1 hour. Say it again. Divide what by 36? Yeah, so in this, right. Yeah, so in this case we would divide. Because if it's saying over a period of 12 hours, but we just want to know for 1 hour. So we would say negative 36 divided by the 12 hours. And that would be negative 3. Yep, so again, same rule applies. Different signs means they have a negative number. And by the way, this is one way of writing dividing. I'm not sure if you guys did that. We just have one number. It looks like a fraction, but that's another one way showing division. I could have also done it like this, negative 36. Even though I never write it like this, you could do it like that too. Same thing. I almost never use it this at the bottom. Anybody need time before I flip that over? Okay. Let's see. I know I want to do at least one of these on the back with you guys. Yeah, let's do the first two together, and I'll have you guys do the other four on your own. So this looks like a lot, but if we just break it down into pieces, it'll be much easier to work out. So number one says 2 times 3 times -5 times -6. So let's just break this into two problems. Let's do 2 times 3 and -5 times -6. So 2 times 3 is what? 6. And -5 times -6 would be what? 30. Because 5 times 6 is 30. And since I have two negative signs, it turns to, yes, two negative signs are positive. Now I'm going to bring down this multiplication sign. Now I have 6 times 30. They gave you some really big numbers to multiply here. It would be 180, yep. And if you didn't know that, one thing you could do is do 6 times 3, take off that 0. 6 times 3 is 18. And then put the 0 back on. No? Okay. 180, yeah. So that would be our final answer. That's a positive number. Okay, I'll do the same thing for number 2. So let's just take the first two numbers, -7 and -8. 56, right. Two negative signs make it a positive. And then bring down that times 1, and it's still 56, because anything times 1 is itself, right? It's much better? Okay. Alright, so you guys can try the next 4 on your own. Oh, I already know the answer to number 6. I forgot to unpause that while I was...